So, hi everyone, welcome to Tete a Tete with Lavanya, and let's welcome Priya. Hi Priya, how are you?
Hi Lavanya, I'm good.
So, first of all, congratulations on getting a 7.5 in IELTS with
Thank you.
preparation time.
Thank you.
And today I'm going to ask you a couple of questions related to your preparation, your experience in the exam center, and your speaking and writing experience, questions that you got in speaking and the writing modules. All right, shall we start? Okay, so first of all, Priya, let's talk about the preparation aspect of it. All right, so for how much time did you spend in studying for IELTS apart from the 1 hour classes that we had for an entire month?
Initially, I didn't have much time to prepare because I just had the 1 month time, your classes, and then I had to give the exam in a few days time. So initially for a week, 2 weeks, I never found time apart from your classes. But what I did in that time, because I think we did a writing module first. So I should try to read as much as I could, as I like to read, to get those words, to get new words.
Correct.
And how it is in the context of the sentence.
Right.
So that I spent time in that, and I tried, because you told me about the documentary and that used to send the podcast. I tried to listen to those so that at least even when I'm working, I could hear these things and get to know about new words.
Right.
And how I can use them in my sentences.
Great. I mean, that's actually one way to sort of immerse yourself into it completely, even in your free time, so that you're constantly in touch with the language.
Yes. And then after 2 weeks, then I started studying. I used to wake up early in the morning. I used to study for 3 hours, because then my kids online classes, they used to start. So before they woke up, I used to try to finish the reading or the listening module, because I didn't want any disturbance. And then in between, in the everyday work, I used to find some time to either listen to something or to write. Writing, I couldn't practice much though.
But you tried as much as you can in whatever time.
Yes, I tried. In whatever time I could, I tried to squeeze in the IELTS training.
That's really, really nice. And Priya, some of them come up and say that, hey, listen, I don't have time to sit and practice after class, or I am not very keen on reading. What kind of suggestion would you give them? And what did you do?
I think you have to practice. I think IELTS needs practice. I got to know this time. Initially, when I thought I will be giving IELTS, I thought, oh, it's fine. It's a piece of cake. I can do it. But no, you have to practice. Practice is the only thing that can help you in IELTS. Because just by especially reading and listening, because I practiced it a lot and I'm very happy with the results. And the same thing goes for writing. I couldn't write much. I couldn't practice much. So the scoring of writing actually pulled down my overall score down.
Right.
I think practice is very important, and you can squeeze in like few minutes, a half an hour or an hour. Even while you're working, you can listen to something. You can try to read articles that interest you, not necessarily some nice big books. Nowadays, articles that come online have beautiful words in them.
Correct.
That is how I learned to make my sentences for writing.
That's very
nice, grammatically written with good words and easy to understand. And that is also what helped me in my reading module.
Right. Correct. Because you're constantly, again, going back and forth and sort of, soaking in everything.
Yes.
Like, because a lot of people keep saying we don't like reading. Just like you said, anything that you are interested in, it could be movies, it could be probably gadgets, finance, anything. You have so many blogs nowadays available and podcasts also on these topics, right?
Yes. Even they can even read gossips. The gossip columns are full of vocabulary. I think the best vocabulary are in the gossip columns.
So everybody needs to take cue from this. Yeah. And Priya, some of them also feel that, like you said, IELTS is a piece of cake. We don't really need a training for that. We don't need a lot of preparation or a tutor to help us get a good score or help us understand. What is your take on that?
No, I think a tutor is necessary. I think you need to train. It's not that easy.
Okay.
Because I tried giving one IELTS test and I couldn't score. I think I tried the listening module. I understood what they're saying, but you know, when somebody's teaching you how exactly to listen to that thing, you had taught us ki go through the question once. So it gives you a gist of what might come, what you have to look out for by listening to it. I think those things did help me. And again, I'm telling you, you had told me that incident about somebody's pencil falling down and that person missing on that entire section of questions. Same thing happened to me. My pencil didn't fall down, but I was very nervous because listening is the first test. It's listening, reading, and writing. I was very nervous. And in that, I didn't hear. I completely missed first two questions.
Okay.
So I'd heard a little bit of it, but I'd missed it. So I remembered what you had said. You just leave it and try to connect from where it starts from again, because you've already read the questions. Now, these tips and tricks, nobody's going to teach you. You have to go to a tutor and only then they can tell you. So I think you need to train.
Okay.
I think training is important.
Super. All right. Now, Priya, now that I also heard about your preparation time, did you like make a timetable or something for yourself, or did you just pick up whatever came to your mind? All right, today I'm going to do this. Tomorrow I'm going to just pick up maybe reading or writing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't make a timetable. I have two kids, so my whole day revolves around them. So keeping two kids engaged in something and studying was difficult, and given that I had very little time to practice. So my motto was that first 2 hours in the morning and after my kids went to sleep. So I hardly slept for 1 week. I have hardly slept.
Okay.
I kept on practicing like morning and evening, and in between those, I actually, for speaking, which I was very nervous, was very nervous about speaking. What I used to do is I used to think of all the possible questions that can come, the questions that we get, and the answers I used to talk out loudly. Like I used to think out aloud while I was doing my daily work, my daily chores, washing vessel or whatever. But that helped me build the confidence of that I can talk things properly.
Correct.
Because sometimes the answers are there in your mind, but when they come out, somehow they're grammatically not correct. I don't know why it used to happen to me, but that helped me a lot. So my first module was speaking in the morning that day. So, and again, you have to be very calm. That is another thing for speaking. So it helped me that speaking the answers loudly, not in front of anyone, just alone, helped me build up that confidence. When it is coming out properly, what I'm thinking is exactly what is coming out of my mouth.
Very nice. Actually, that is also something that students can try, especially when they're nervous about speaking, to a stranger. So that's a good tip and a suggestion, which I'm sure a lot of them would sort of apply. Yeah. Now, Priya, let's move on to the next segment where I would want you to talk about your experience, especially in such testing times. I would want you to talk about the computer-based test, how that experience was for you, and what kind of precautions did the exam center in Pune take?
So I had booked my test through British Council. So, but the precautions that they took was exceptional. It was really good. Right from where we entered the building, our the oximeter, our oxygen level was checked. Our temperature was checked right from the building where we entered. And after that, our hands were sanitized at every step of the process. Right from checking our biometric, checking from the fingerprint, we had to check. Everything was sanitized. Even the pen that they gave us was sanitized.
Wow. Okay.
Water bottles also were provided. So we felt safe. So there was one less thing to think about.
Correct. One less thing to worry about, especially in an exam.
Exactly. So I had a very good experience at British Council. So no
Okay.
problem. It was really good.
That's very nice. I'm sure that will also sort of help students who are planning to go take their exams, calm their nerves, right? And Priya, can you tell me about your computer-based test experience? That how many candidates are there or were there in your center who were taking computer-based tests?
The distances were maintained. It was a big classroom. There were around 8 to 9 people.
Okay.
But the distance, I think one table distance was there between each candidate.
Okay.
And the computer test was really easy because I had got questions like, can you go back to the previous question? Somehow there's a perception that once you type in an answer in the computer-based paper, you can't go back. No, nothing like that. You can go back. You can recheck. So there's no problem. It was really easy, and the best part was the writing module. You've got the numbers of the word count. The word count was there for you.
Oh, great! That is so helpful, right?
Yes, it was very helpful because I was my 250 words was not done when I was finishing it. So I got to know there. So it was very helpful.
Very nice.
And you can also increase the font. It is good. I think I took the computer-based program.
Okay, that's nice. As you had a great experience with the computer-based.
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, moving to the third segment, Priya. Can you tell me how was the speaking module for you? You already mentioned it earlier that on how you practiced and how the experience was. You were calm in the examination, but what kind of questions did you get?
Questions. I don't remember much, but yes.
Not even the top.
It was like, are you married? Are you studying? Are you a student? Then they asked about the hometown, the hometown questions. Where do you live currently? That questions were there. Then for the 2-minute thing, I got an award that you have won.
Okay.
It was about that. I had never read about this question before, so it does take time to write it down, but it was good. Where did you get it? When did you get it? And then how did you feel?
Okay.
These were the questions. And after that, initially there were also questions about, do you make a to-do list?
Okay, planning.
Do you plan things? Do you make a list before you go for shopping? Then there were questions like, what kind of a work will you not do in a hurry? Questions like this, these were also there. And I saw one thing, the examiner who took my exam, it was not necessary that she stuck to the questions that were there on the page in front of her. She modified the questions according to my answers.
Exactly, yes.
That is one thing I saw.
Yes, no, that's exactly why I tell everybody, please be honest. So that at least the questions, let's say, you get a question, do you like reading books? And you say, I don't read books often. At least the next question may not be related to books. Very nice.
To-do list, when I told her, I just do it just for shopping, then what kind of shopping? Why do you make it? And she was not looking down. I could see that she's not looking down. She modified it according to the answer that I was giving her. But what happens is when like this happens, when they ask questions like this, you also feel that it's a natural thing for her to ask the questions that she's asking.
Correct.
And you also become little comfortable with her.
Correct.
You also answer more naturally. The whole thing is you have to be honest, or else then you might get stuck if you just say something because it's good to hear. Because she also asked me whether I believe in awards. That should the government be awarding the citizens? So, no, honest, to be like a good answer would be that yes, I think they should be awarded, but it was not my opinion. So I gave my honest opinion that I don't think so they should be awarded. But she stuck to it. She was like, no, but what if they are really good? I said, okay, fine, if they're that good, then you can give. Obviously, I told her in a better way.
Obviously.
Yes, they can be awarded. But then there was also a question like, I remember one question she asked me about my about children. Should they be awarded or not?
Mm-hmm.
Like these questions, I had never practiced.
Correct.
I've not seen it anywhere. So at the end of the day, it depends what questions you might get, and you have to give your honest opinion.
Right.
So, but in fact, that made the whole thing fun for me because it was my opinion she was asking.
Exactly.
So I could give honest answers, and then if I would have rehearsed the answers, if I would have learned by hearted them and gone, I wouldn't have been this comfortable.
Obviously.
So this, I told her, okay, I don't believe in awards or prizes for kids. Then I gave her my own example, what I do with my son, that I take him out after his exams, not after his results.
Correct.
So I'm awarding his effort.
Correct.
I'm not awarding the
His,
so it was good. In fact, I think you just have to be very, very calm.
Again, a very important point you made here was you did not memorize the answers. If you had, probably you would have been very rigid, and the kind of questions also would have become very unnatural, and maybe for you to answer that would have become difficult.
Yes.
Again, something which everybody needs to remember, please don't memorize, the speaking module answers. Like, don't even write down your answers and memorize your own answers, and of course not from the internet. Be natural. That's a very important point again.
Yes.
And moving to the writing module, what kind of questions did you get for task 1 and task 2? You took your general exam, so what kind of letter did you?
Task 1 was I'm writing a letter to an editor of a newspaper who had put up an advertisement inviting articles for about local issues.
Okay.
So it was, and I wrote well. As I told you, I'm very disappointed in my writing because I wrote really well. I wrote about water pollution in the city lake.
Okay.
And that is what I wrote about. And they just said, explain first where you saw that and explain what you would like to write. So it was not like I had to write everything. I just had to explain that just the points that I would like to make, and why would the readers be interested in it.
Correct.
That was one very important thing. So I wrote because it is about a famous landmark in the city, and I also wrote that it will be a wake-up call for the municipality, the city municipality, to do something about the restoration of the lake.
Correct.
So I wrote around 180 words.
Nice. That's good enough. You don't have to write beyond that also, because otherwise it will become a repetition.
So I just wrote 180 words.
Good.
And for task 2, it was that people above the age of 60 create problems in the work environment, and that many people think they should retire.
Okay.
So what is your opinion? Do you agree or you disagree? And if, why? Explain. So I wrote that I greatly agree that they should retire, but I also think they can be an asset to the company.
Okay.
So mostly I wrote why, because I greatly agreed for them to retire. So I wrote what problems that can come in a company where the seniors are there, then the junior employees come, the clashes, the ego clashes, everything I wrote. And in the advantages I wrote, I also put in a small saying old is gold, and saying that how they can bring in their experience, which is good for the company.
Correct.
And in the conclusion I wrote it will be better if they retire. I mean, it's good for them because they can spend more time with the family, which they have missed out on in all these years. And if they want to work, they can work as consultant.
Correct.
So as consultant, there will be no ego clashes. They can bring in their experience, and younger people can get in the innovative ideas. I don't know, I wrote it very well. You have seen my writing. Some of that one module got my score really down.
Well, actually, just to tell the viewers that the score that Priya's got is 7.5. Amazing score, but something probably just went wrong in writing, and of course, she's pretty disappointed with that. And I can understand, because your writing has always been a strong point. You're very, very good at writing.
I was very nervous about reading and listening. I've practiced a lot and I got amazing marks. I'm not boasting, but I'm really happy, especially reading. I was so scared about reading and I got really good marks.
Correct.
I'm happy about it. But writing.
Even speaking for that matter, Priya, because even the very first time when we started the speaking module, I remember you were very nervous and you were not sure how it was going to go, but great scores. And I think it's all the practice, the effort that you put in as well.
Maybe because I thought that reading, listening, and speaking would be very difficult for me. So I kept on practicing that.
Correct.
And I didn't have much time. Maybe if I would have had more time, then at least a month's time, then I would have practiced writing too. But I couldn't do that. That is why practice is very important.
Right.
You need time for practice. But due to some personal reasons, I had to give exams very early. And I didn't have time.
Like we just mentioned a while back, that entire week after our classes, during our classes also you kept practicing, but after our classes, that 1 week's time that you had, you kept working, you hardly slept, you were working, working on IELTS in the morning, after your kids went to bed, whenever you found the free available time. So that's very important as well, And Priya, do you have any suggestions for the students who plan to give their exam in the future?
The best suggestion is practice. Keep on practicing. And when you're about to give IELTS, incorporate it in your everyday routine. Like whether you're listening to something, whether you're reading something, just keep that in the back of your mind, that one word you're picking up or one new word you're listening to, how it is pronounced. Again, something I read a lot, I know what that word means. Sometimes I don't know the pronunciation. So what I used to go to YouTube, put in that word and say, and here how it is pronounced. I wanted the correct pronunciation. Sometimes you know the word, but you don't know exactly how it is pronounced.
Correct.
So I used to do that too. I used to look for the correct pronunciations.
Okay, that's nice.
Practice.
That's going out of your out of your way to learn more, and that's again very important. I know it's an English exam, and a lot of people say it's just an English language test, but then when you actually go ahead and start practicing, that's when you know,
exactly,
that it requires one to immerse into the entire syllabus, if I may say so. And yes. Please.
Because what we are doing right now, the spoken English is not, we can't write that. This is something that I learned. We think just because we can converse in English, oh, English is very easy, I can write it. No, we cannot. The words that are being used sometimes in the reading module, and when they are paraphrased, sometimes you get confused. Exactly what are they asking?
Correct.
So for that, you need practice.
Right.
Okay.
And Priya, I just want to ask you, what was that one takeaway from the training sessions that we had?
From what you taught us?
Yeah.
I think without you, I wouldn't have been able to give my IELTS. No, seriously.
Yeah.
What I was terrified. First, I thought it's a piece of cake. Then I gave my trial exams. And then I was very nervous. Then I exactly knew what it was. It's not that easy. So what your classes did was that 1 hour of time when you were training me actually helped me build the confidence that no, I can do it.
Correct.
I follow her tips and tricks and I will be able to do it.
Right.
And that 1 hour also was something that connected my whole day to that IELTS training or whatever I was doing the whole day. That 1 hour that I spent with you, I could actually use it.
Right.
And then you get into the mode of, okay, now 1 hour time I have to remove for IELTS. Whatever happens, this 1 hour of my time is for my IELTS practice and training.
Dedicated slot.
So I think that helped a lot.
That's nice. So thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Priya. And again, hearty congratulations. From next time, we are going to keep in touch, obviously. But very soon, I hope you get your visa and you move to Canada with your husband and your kids.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Priya. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavanya. Thank you.
Bye. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See ya.
See you.